Hello. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone the world you are. It's your Blue Archive Gacha where beginner artist self-proclaimed and your boy Tosan Yu. Welcome to the stream. For today I will be drawing a VTuber fan art, and with that I will be drawing the Winning Son Yukoku Roberu from Holostars. Welcome, welcome. If you're not familiar with my art style, you see on the left side some samples. It will take like about 2 to 3 hours until I'm like done. And I will be yapping in the meantime, you know, so that you like know what you can expect by going in here. This is like part of a drawing challenge as well. I draw like every week, minimum 1 time, you know, and what the challenge is that I want to more or less draw every single holomem, you know, holomember, and Yukoku Roberu is like a character, not like character I say, like one content creator, one streamer, one VTuber. I think like a lot of people do like find sympathy with, you know. Sun is just winning, you know. Gets like with some popular streamers together, maybe in like some potential ships, you know. And it's just like, yeah, let's go W. And yeah, of course it's not always the reason that I like, you know, I like the character, like the VTubers, you know, but it's also like, yeah, the drawing challenge, you know, just my excuse, you know, to like draw them in the first place. And you know, by like yesterday, you know, like when you like watch VTubers and everything, you get like sometimes YouTube is like, oh, you like those clips? Here bro, here's some more, you know, here more of the good stuff. And then you get like something recommended, and I saw like some Roberu clip, you know, from Overetai writing channel, like a clip channel. And this was like something about the ass clap on like every New Year or so. And he broke like, he got like in the top 3 of like trending or so, 13,000 like viewers, CCV, you know, something like that. And yeah, I think like I'm gonna try like something related to that, so with him like clapping his ass. Like clapping his cheeks, you know. We're gonna like see how I'll do that. Like in GP form, it's like a lot like nerfed, but still you can do something. I knew like that Holostars, you know, what I like remember from Astel as well, or like Randise, you know, they have like some screws loose. They can be very safe, so can be like good boys, but you know, it's not only like the pro energy and like the symbiosis, the idol thing that is like making them special, you know. But also like that they can be chaotic, you know, boys being boys. So yeah, we shouldn't like forget about that. Of course, like Roberu was like pretty wholesome, you know, and he has charisma. He's like a pretty good entertainer, pretty good listener, pretty good talker, you know, like a really good conversation partner. Like you can bounce off from him like pretty well. So like what I get like impression of when like I see him being a collab like with other people, and it's like good enough, you know, that he has like his kind of talk show more or less, like Bar Roberu, you know. Like invites some guests, you know, and then talks with them, and he's like pretty good at like keeping the flow. And so And he's like one of the few who are like extrovert, you know, who are like not introverted. Like many in, you know, many holo memes are like introverted, you know, and he's like one of the exceptions, you know, that he's like extroverted, you know. So that's like one of the strengths there that make him like help him stand out, you know. So yeah. But yeah, going like so far, you know, to clap his ass. Like he's like in 3D there when he's undressing himself, but you know, like in this 3D you still like see that he's like dressed, so it's like, kind of like safe. And then he would like wash his butt, you know, and put salt on there, you know, and then bam 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 bam, you know. And it's only him in the studio, you know. If someone would like come in, they would like see him butt naked, you know, and then yeah. It was like kind of a solo thing, but you know, the potential when like other people would be there with him, you know. The potential, imagine. But yeah, pretty nice. Where you can like turn off your filter and then be just like ridiculous, and then you know, boys being boys. But okay. Probably need to make the body bigger, you know. We're gonna like see how it works. Life is full of side quests. Life is full of side quests. You have like your main goals and everything, you know, your main quest there's a reason why you've been born, why you start playing this game or so, right? But then you get like distracted by a lot of side quests. In order to reach your dream, you need up to the tree, go to school. And then do this, and this, you know? Kind of. It's kind of like in those video games, you know, where it's like, hey, can you grab me 10 pills? Oh, by the way, forgot to buy like some tea. Can you grab me like 1 tea from the supermarket? Thanks. Here's the money that you need like to pay for that. You know, and then you like go there, make that, and eat, you know, and then he's like willing to teach you like a little bit of like cram school in a sense, you know. And then the next day you go to school, you learn, and you go to the cram school, something like that, you know. It's just like a long progress, kind of, you know. It's nothing that you can like do it's not a one and done, you know. It does feel like that life is like pretty much a side quest, you know. But it's just like, it's full of side quests, you know, but it's like all those little components that like help to get you there. It's like not one big step forward, you know, not a big jump, it's like small steps, right? Baby steps. It's just you need to invest a lot of time and you need to be patient. Yeah. That's not always easy. Can be hard to keep it up for a long while. Drawing is like, for example, you know, a skill where you also like need a long time to get like up somewhere like decent-ish, you know. Music as well. But hey, now there are tools where you don't require all those little baby steps, right? You can just create it in one go. Music. Or like art, you know. Image generation. Wow. Well, is it now good or bad? I wonder. Is grinding now obsolete? What's happened with the mindset grind set, you know? When like the solution to like problems is in our pocket. When we can create like stuff out of nothing. Well, it's not really out of nothing, but out of like some text, you know, hey, create a dog. Hey, add to this photo like a dad and like a chick or so. Something like that, right? Give this girl a bikini. Hmm. Ugh, well. I'm gonna like check through some artworks from Roberu. I need like some references. Roberu. Roberu. I already have that. Good. And let's go over there. Roberu. Oh, he has like a beauty mark. Here.最新情報 You know, I guess like things like being able to create art, be it like that drawing or like music, you know, has become more and more unique now. Like things like a home-cooked meal, you know. Of course, there are like things like McDonald's, you know, fast food. Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you want on your burger. And like those kind of memes, you know, like prejudice on like what you can kind of expect on a product from them, you know. So that like, you know, things like a home cooked meal becomes like more and more, gets like more and more value. And I guess like, just like the thing of like creating things on your own becomes more and more important, you know. Of course, you can still make recipes, you know, like formulas based on like home-cooked meals, but still, it won't like be the same, you know, if you try like to automate it and like make a machine out of it rather than like some process that takes like time and like love, you know. The most important ingredient, you know, if you like cook food, for example, or like create like stuff is like, you know, like love, passion, something like that, right? Of course, more efficient if you like automate stuff. As humans, we like kind of prioritize that, you know. It's kind of like with Minecraft, you know. We always like try to optimize things and like try to automate it at some point, even if it means like that this game starts to become less fun, you know. But it's like kind of in the human nature that we want to advance. But just like, you know, when you create a tool that like can generate like stuff immediately, you know, things like editing, like photoshopping or so, or like even drawing, you know, the mindset grind set to become like better. There's like just no reason anymore for, you know. The thing is like everybody can like learn art nowadays, you know, like PewDiePie like showed to you like with this video, you know, that you can like do it. You can do that too. Maybe it's like not in his tempo, you know, because I guess he's gifted, you know, in a sense. Like he has like some, yeah, he has talent, I would like say. But you can probably do that as well. Maybe not as fast as him, but you know, if it takes like 1 year for him, you know, maybe it takes 2 years for you, you know. But it's just like, you know, someone was there before you can like follow the footprints, you know, like the path he went like through, and then yeah. But the thing is also he did a commentary, be like, oh man, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, you know. And like other professional artists like looking at like this kind of progress and giving their like kind of advice as well, you know. And it's like something we can like learn from, wisdom, you know. Like better to learn from mistakes of other people than like doing on your own first, right? But like for AI, for example, I can't like really see, you know. Like benefits, you know, of Gen AI, for example. Like, of course you can like reduce like costs, things like cost, you know. You can like save yourself money. Don't pay like artists, you know. To do stuff, but but the thing is like reputation as well. And reputation is like some kind of currency. I wonder how like draw his hair. It needs more volume on both sides. Like personalities for now, you know. People being entertaining. This cannot be really replaced, you know, like every Holostar, Hololive member. They're like irreplaceable, you know. Some of them have like unique skill sets, you know. Some can like sing, some can like do music, some do draw. Like Carly, for example, such a multi-talent, you know. And I do like think as well that she has like a nice singing voice, you know. She does like rapping, so but when people be like, man, Carly, your singing voice is so nice, you know. I think that was like with like Holo Earth, Holo Alternative or so, something like that. There was like some kind of anime-ish opening, and then like Kali would like sing the theme song there, you know, for example. And people would like realize, man, Kali, you got a beautiful voice, you know, be sing more, you know, something like that. And it's kind of like cute to like to see the reactions, you know, be like, oh, you think I'm good enough? Plush tehe, okay, I will try, and you know, something like that, like push them forward. But with like tools, you know, like Gen AI, there's like nothing like a soul, you know, like nothing you can really cheer for, unless we have like something like Neurosummer. But there's a difference between like, you know, Vidal and like Neuro, and like those companies, you know, as well. I don't really like know. Like people like JP Bros, for example, saw like, you know, like things with Neurosummer, you know, like that it popped off, you know, like things like went viral there that like go to the JP Bro, something like that. But not so much of like things like Croc AI, you know. Like the Twitter AI there. I wonder. Thing is just like I saw like some kind of Japanese post by Cygames and something about AI studios, so that they start like having a department there or whatever, you know. Like they have like a team of artists, they have a team of like musicians, something like that. People like work on the games, or like they have even animators, in-house animators, you know. But now, what does it mean, you know? I wonder. Of course, it's like something like cutting costs, you know, because company, and then you want like to save your money so they can invest in other stuff, but I really like wonder, you know. They need like some explanation there, you know, but they have to keep it vague at some point also to like kind of avoid backlash, you know, if they like be like as vague as possible. Like it's kind of corporate, you know. Like if you are like too transparent, it's like kind of a chess move you can't like undo, right? In chess you can't really undo moves, you know. You do your moves when you put your head on the timer, then it's like ticking again, you know. Time's like flowing, you can't like undo actions. The dices have like fallen. Alia Jagta ist. A lot of people were like disappointed, be like, oh man, my goat's so wash, ill, or something like that, but I don't know, I have like to wait, you know, to like see what they really like we're up to there. Of course, I could have also like be like on a comment, be like, man, no, you know, and like just join the voices, but again, I really have to like to wait there until like, you know. But for now, it doesn't like look really good, you know, because we have like the situation of like Croc AI, for example. And when it's like used for, yeah, or something illegal, I guess. Yeah. I kind of like place my hope in Japan, to be honest, you know. Things like the like way of like thing and then thing in Japan, right? But Hololive, you know, they use it like for the trading card game, like trailer as well, you know, something like that. And now Cygames also like doing something with like AI, huh? They seem like so good, you know. Because they support like with like the horse racing and like horse owners, you know, like retired race horses, you know. For example, did like I got a lot of support when she was alive. Like nice nature. They were like sick and everything when the fans came because of Missime, for example, and like so it gave a lot of donation money so that the owners were like able to support, you know, those retired race horses, you know, the life habitat, and then also like other horses that are like the same environment, you know, like the food donations, you know, like to Ura with the grass, you know. This can be used like to help other horses there as well there when Ura can't like finish all of that. Now she can't finish it at all, you know, because, you know, status deceased or something like that, but you know what I mean? Like they did like a lot of good things, and then all of a sudden, you know, they do like this move. It's like kind of I don't know. can be really like to like save cost, but at the same time, I wonder, what did they mean with that? Man, but yeah, it really like turns out to be like this kind of cliche of like a lot of like stories, you know, like when someone like receives too much power, like you know, it can like corrupt them. You either, you know, live long enough to be like a villain or like die as a hero, you know. With that, I kind of like wonder, will people like Keanu Reeves, you know, be like that? You know, Keanu Reeves doesn't use social media, for example. I think it's a good thing, you know. Not even like seeing all this crap like with what's like on X, for example. And I guess like, you know, when I think like about my own life, you know, I spent like most of my life, you know, without any technology, I must say. And I was like doing pretty well. Just focus on the grinds, like with drawing. Okay, I'm exaggerating like the butt cheeks. Oh gosh. Yes, something here on this side there. He did like this butt slapping stream there. Clapping his own ass. It was like even like, it was a good enough sound that you like hear he actually like slapped his ass. Okay, you wanna see a 10-hit combo? 1,2,3,4,5,6,7,8 90 something like that, you know. Still need to like, you know, I know, you know, it's like to practice like fast Japanese. I'm like pretty like slow like when it comes like to reading Japanese or like doing this thing of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, like in Japanese. I still have like to stop, you know, at some point, but yeah, getting there. And he did like things like that, a 10-hit combo. It's just ridiculous, you know, but yeah. But it's like nice. It's still nice. But if it's like those kind of crazy things you have to do to like keep up with Hololive, you know, as a Holostar, I guess, you know, there's like something really you have like to consider and think, you know. If being sane doesn't help, but you have to like turn to insanity, you know. Like without going into like the future bait route, you know, but just be like crazy, you know, demon mode or something like that. Like not everyone is like, it's like the mentality of like a bitch or so, you know, not every like guy is like that. To like give themselves up to be something like a bitch or so, you know. But boys can have enough screws loose to just be a boy, you know, to just be like crazy and do like something funny and hilarious, you know. It's like when people are like drunk that they do like things like that. Like what, they're like a lot more loose, you know, more willing to do like some BS, you know. And sometimes this BS can be like pretty funny and like entertains people, you know. Get a lot of confidence as well, and so that you're like willing to like, hey, let's do this, sounds funny, you know. And yeah. Okay. It's like something like that. Got something around like here. But Roberu has like some fans there, even like within like Hololive. He collabs like enough with them as well. I pretty much like it, you know, like when I see Holostars. I'm pretty much interested in like what they do. I like watch whatever they do like with great interest, you know. My boys. If I would be like looking at it in German, I would be like something like my sensei, you know. My Männer, meine Männer. Something like that, you know. My boys. My men, you know. But you can't like do much to interfere like with that journey, you know. It's like kind of like a parent, you know, when they see like their children growing up, you know, they can't not interfere because you need to give them their freedom so that they have like room to grow, you know. Only if they like willing to ask you for help, you know, then yeah, you step in. Or like when you like notice something like wrong, you know. Of course, not everyone has like this clairvoyance, you know, especially like parents are like no magicians, you know, they cannot read minds and everything. But, you know, something like that. That you need to give them freedom. And as part of the audience, for example, you have like to, you know, let them do, you know. You can be like, yo bro, what the frick, you know, what are you doing, you know, but still, you know, support them in their journey, I suppose. Maybe this is like, you know, like as an observer, you know, you're not supposed to like jump in there and disrupt like the flow of things, you know. You're just there to let things happen, like watch, you know, kind of. But the thing is, like, you have the choice between, like, you know, watching or like just leaving, you know. Like when you see a street performance, like in real life example, you can decide to like stop by and like, you know, be part of the audience, or you just like leave, you know. Easy. If you leave, for example, then you can like move on with your life, you know, continue whatever you had like in mind. But if you like stick by, you know, who knows what can happen? Who knows how much it can like make your day? Like other humans can be pretty interesting as well. Or like what they have to bring to the table on entertainment. Especially if it's like for free, you know. You can just be, you know, part of the audience and then yeah. In a street performance. It was like cool for me when I like saw like some magic street performance there. I could like be part of it. I wonder how I draw this. Yes, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's pretty wild. I'm not really sure like what rule I should like follow there. Now to like draw this. It's like somewhat recognizable, like if you just look at his face, you know. But when it comes to the body parts, I'm like kind of like exaggerating like some things. Yeah, maybe like I need to exaggerate his butt like a lot more. Or like move some parts, I don't know. I like mirror it for example. And there's like a big imbalance there. But I'm not really sure like how else you can like do it. Maybe you should move, like try to move, you know, like some things. Like this part here. Yeah, I suppose. I'd like try it like that. Always uncertain when like try to draw like stuff. I don't have like a clear vision really. But that's like why I have like to try like stuff out. It can like help in long run. It does like help in long run. To be like the one to like have the steer wheel in the hand. And if you like happen to like find the right route, you know, then you like know how to take that route and like go over and over and over again. You know, I kind of like that. For example, like when like going to a, you know, you move like to a new town, then you know you learn like the way to go to school and then like back home, you know. And once you like walk that path, then it gets easier. Or maybe you like just remember like, you know, you just like learn, hey, now I know how to go from point A to B, you know, like from home to like school, from school to like home, you know, something like that. And this can be like pretty valuable to like learn it, you know. It's just instead of like relying on like some tools like Google Maps or so, right? That you just like learn like how you have to like walk it yourself, like learning how to read maps and everything, like making use of your brain cells actually and like train that, you know, brain of yours. Train that brain of yours. Brain that train of yours. But you know what I mean, right? I do wonder if Grok can actually help you with that. Twitter AI. Oh gosh. Why even like got he created? I wonder. like Misa, you know, let's say like Ani, you know, the companion thing. I guess like Elon Musk likes Misa from Death Note, that like so much that he like wanted his own Misa, you know, I suppose. I do remember like this one tweet or so. Hey, you know, at whole life, can I also be a whole life? I can also be cute and kawaii or something like that, you know. Remember like Artia, you know. This was like a former whole life CN. Was, you know, whole life CN former was like part like whole life, you know, was kind of like Holostars, something like that, right? And I guess like, yeah. I don't know like what's up with like rich people. Maybe they're like too bored. You know, it's a kind of like Saitama effect, you know, you become so strong that you get bored. When you do whatever like with the money, you know. Mr. Beast is using that for, I don't know, like his videos, you know, and like things like giveaways, you know, so that like more people are like willing to like participate in there, you know. And I think there's like nothing too wrong, like you use thing to like use money to make more money, right? But it's just like sometimes, you know, regarding like entertainment media, we do develop our taste, you know. We do like things, we do see like things become stagnant. Do you say that? They're stagnant. That some things are like stuck in the past, you know. And that there's like not much innovation. And not like not a lot of new things like come in there. Like with Shoujo, for example, there are like some like newcomers, some that can be like pretty promising, you know, but if like looking at the West, for example, I wonder. Like Vince Gilligan, you know, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, kind of a rescuer there, you know, saving us from boredom. You cannot die from boredom, but you know, at the same time it's like, oh, let's go, my god, you carried me, you know, my evening is saved, now I can like have like something cool to watch also, you know. You know what? How about I do it like 60% legs or like 70% legs, you know, like this, like how Gura said it, something like that, you know, like, man, Crony, you're just like 70% legs or something like that, right? Probably have like to do it like that, I have to exaggerate. Oh gosh. It's like a lot of trial and error. It's kind of a curse, I suppose, but I mean, I kind of got this impression like when watching like a clip of like, you know, his butt slapping stream. A lot of people donated there. It got like a lot of CCV. It got even trending. And I think he did like really great show, you know. If it's like a New Year butt slapping thing, he probably will do it for like next year as well, you know. He will do it again. And there will be a clip again, I think. So yeah, let's draw something that kind of like reminds of like butt slapping. But you know, it's like kind of like this one meme I like thought, you know. I don't know, it's like pretty old, but kind of like began like with like when Ame would draw her blur's art, you know, of like Booba, you know, like her dog, you know. And it was like a really fat Booba like facing like similar like this drawing here, you know, to you, and like showing your Stumpy, be like, what's wrong, teammate? Don't you wanna eat my McNuggies or something like that? Some, you know. And then at some point, like people drew like, I don't know, this kind of meme, like animated meme, like with a certain like soundtrack in there. There was like this kind of do 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 boom 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 do 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 do. I don't know. Like when it comes like to this lighthearted like tone of music or sound, you know, there would be like a little cute little dog like Booba, and then when like the music would like get more powerful, let's get a more bass, you know, then Booba would like turn to like, I don't know, like some chat, you know, like the fat Booba, and then his Dumpy get like so fat extended, you know. And kind of like this meme that, you know, you look at the dog, everything cool and fine, then you turn around unsuspectingly, and then he turns like into this giga chat with big Dumpy, you know. When you turn back around to like check on the dog, he's like a normal dog, you know, something like that. And I guess like, you know, it's like kind of the vibe I like kind of like want to draw like with Roberu, but I still keep like the dimensions like realistic for a chibi. Not really, it's not really realistic, but you know, like kind of like on par like with what you expect from a chibi body, you know, like that, you know. I was like kind of like struggling, you know. I was like looking for some kind of reference there, you know, on like, hey, what is this meme called? And then like big Dumpy meme, and I got like a lot of like different like stuff, you know. It's just like Google was kind of like, do you have any idea how little that narrows it down, you know? Like instead of like searching the exact meme I had in mind, you know. It was just like something random, man. Like things like how it's called, like, you know, Kagurabachi sword drawing meme. This is like easy, you know, for example, or like things like Skibidi Toilet also, because it says a name. But what did you call those that are like based on like visuals, you know? This is like difficult, you know, like trying to search for memes. I never thought it would be like that much of a challenge, but I guess now our face is kind of challenge, you know. There are like enough people like who draw like ex-anime character but like as a meme, and then they take that this reference as a meme, the meme as a reference, you know, to like draw this kind of thing. And it can be like really great, appreciate, you know, like PogChamp, you know, there are like so many different versions, you know, for example. Or like the wheezing meme, you know, like there was this old guy who like wheeze, you know, something like that. Or like the Shiba Inu, you know, for example, like with his funny faces. Like those meme legends, you know, like, you know, they're like not alive. Like the Shiba Inu is like, I think like not alive anymore, or like this man who like wheezed. He kind of like talk in Spanish or so, I don't know really, but, you know, gave us like a really great moment and like, you know, emotes as well. And the thing is like, as long as you don't forget, they will not die. As long as you live on their memories or something like that, you know? So it's kind of like nice to like think about it. That they still like, you know, have like some life energy like pump into them or so, and can be happy, you know. This might be like energy that like can go into like in the next life, you know, like having a perfect starter hand or so. I think. But yeah, I'm like not 1 hour in, but like almost 1 hour in. Okay, I'm gonna like see, I'm gonna like check how I where like place antenna. But man, Robert-kun's hair, I thought I draw that even. Like, it's somewhat recognizable. But at the same time, I feel like, man, I do like a lot of things wrong right now. how do I draw him? Like his hair is complicated. It's like something like old school, but at the same time it's like not old school. It's like not like one of the older ones. Like not like, you know, Dragon Ball art style, for example, like Yamcha, long hair, for example, also. By the way, I like the long hair version of like Yamcha like the best. Of course, it was like kind of like nice when he had like shorter hair, like in the manga, you know, in the series, you know, kind of like fresh and everything. And then, okay, like ready for to be boyfriend mode, you know. But yeah. It was kind of like nice to like, you know, that Bulma had like a love interest with like with Yamcha, and like Yamcha with like Bulma, you know, something like that. And then later on, like when the Z saga, then Vegeta also, right? And then it's like, you know, it's not anti-R also. And but the thing like in the manga, there was like no build up or anything, you know, to like to that event. You know, it was just at some point Trunks of the Future came, and then kind of like spoilering to like Goku, oh yeah, I'm the son of like Vegeta and like Bulma, you know. And then it's like, I do like wonder, like, you know, like if you're just at this moment, it's like, is it just a different timeline? Yamcha doesn't get together with like Bulma, or was it always destined to be that like Vegeta's like with Bulma, you know? Like what happened there, you know? The anime, you know, would like kind of like put a filler story for that, like how they got together or so, but in the manga there was never like a story or so like that, you know. And sometimes like Toriyama sensei forgets, you know, like things like lunch, you know, like not the food but like a character called Lunch. Man, this girl's so cute. There were like two versions, you know, like when she starts sneezing, she would like turn to like a blonde girl and like be super aggressive or so. And this was like a girl that was like on a wanted list, you know, something like that. But there was like a little bit of like gapmui with that, you know. Like there was a black hair version of her, like say so cute and so, you know, and this was like yes, you know. But then whenever she sneezed, she would like turn to something else, like this blonde tsundere wild girl, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, it has like a little bit of the Ramba 1.5 vibe, but at the same time it's like this kind of old school like humor, you know, something like that. Not really humor, but you know, it's kind of like, you know, like with Roshi, like he's the very old man. Hey, Goku, bring me like a hot girl, man. Oh gosh, you actually brought a hot girl. Let's go, and then okay, what am I gonna do? How do I raise her up? And then next moment she sneezes, and then you know, pulls out a gun. It's like you know, it's like that, you know. I really much like how the times like were. It's like it was a lot more simple, you know. Good old times. A lot of things were better. I don't understand this here. I guess I'm gonna keep it like that. The joke was kind of like Goku he looks like a little kid, and mentally he is like a kid, you know? Like, physically he might be like 50 years old or so, but mentally he's like still a kid, you know? And then all he's like interested in is like to become stronger, you know, like fighting power, fighting ability or so, you know? Hey, let's fight, you know? You're strong, let's fight or something like that, you know? Like, it's kind of the meme, like how people like broke Goku down, when like, oh, this coffee's quite strong, then Goku appears and be like, hey, I heard you were strong, let's fight coffee, man, you know, something like that. Oh hey, I heard your porn addiction is pretty strong, let me fight it, and then damn, your porn addiction got hands, something like that. You know. Hello Kayla, you're like the religion and like God loves you guy. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm drawing here Yukoku Roberu from Holostars. Yeah, he's the winning son. I don't know, how do you feel on like being remembered, hey, God loves you, you know, I want to say that guy. To remember it like that. What do you feel when I say like, hey, I like girls, you know? Also, or like say that I like to some weird fetish. There really is like a time place like to say like things, you know? You can't like barge in and like spread your message, you know? You're like, oh man, I want a girlfriend, I want girlfriend, you know? Something like that. 彼女が欲しい! So I want a girlfriend! Come on! You know, something like that. And will it have? I don't know. Probably not. But what's like the fact is like that you kind of annoy like people like that, you know? Like look into the perspective, you know? Of course, like maybe your message has like truth, but do you need to shout it out? Or like do you need to like spread the message? I don't know. Like you have a lot of free time, you know? Kind of like shows that you have a lot of free time. You could like use the time to like to actually like do something productive, you know? I think. If you're in school, you know, you could like use it to like learn stuff or so, like to study. Do some homeworks or so. If you like if you already have a full-time job or so, I don't know, you can use the free time to actually do something productive. You know, maybe do a different job, a second job or so. Maybe like you help like people like your friend group or like neighbor, whatever, you know. Like if you really feel like that, you know, when people deserve love, you know, what about your love, you know? Do you love people? Do you love everyone? I don't know. But the same thing is also like, some people do not deserve love, right? Not everyone deserves kindness, right? Some people be like begging for money and be like, you know, some people do deserve it, some people do not deserve the money. Like, for example, like, did like help someone, you know, gave them so much money, and then I kind of like felt shitty afterwards, you know. If I feel shitty, then it's kind of like a red flag, you know, kind of. That there are like some kind of limits that you can like do. Not really like limits, but there are some limits on how kind you can like be, or like what amount of like kindness is like the right amount, you know. Do you know what I'm in? I'm 7. Oh gosh. So do you go to elementary school also? Or are you... Probably you are. Well, what I mean, like, with something productive you can, like, do, you know? You know, learning for school, making some money, you know? Helping your parents, maybe your siblings, you know? And, Of course, it can be like nice to say, hey, I love you, you know? Or like God loves you, but thing is like, you know, saying God loves you doesn't really help that much, you know? And you can like disturb some people like that. The thing is like, actions speak louder than words, you know? You can say a lot, but you actually have like to do things to bring something in a positive change in life, you know? Not only like in your own, but like in other people's, you know? Like how do you show your love, you know? Is also the question. Yes, I know, but help some people, God tells us to help others, so that's what I do. But, you know, just saying, hey, God loves you, or like in a sense, hey, my dad loves you, or like, I love you. What does this help, you know? Maybe it's a boost to the morale, but if people don't really care about, I don't know, who's your dad? I don't know your dad, you know? Or I don't know God. Like, let's say like something like that, you know? I don't know this person. What does it, what do I care about, you know? You have also to think about the boundaries, you know? Like when I say, hey, I don't know. It can like come off the wrong way. But take like a time to think about it, you know? And by the way, I have chat rules, by the way. Like... Like currently I draw and I talk about a certain topic, you know? And then the chat rule is kind of like, don't bring up like topics that are related to the stream or whatever I draw or like talk about, you know? If I talk like about flowers, don't talk about like guns or so, something like that, right? The thing is like, there are like lurkers as well. I'm not only like on YouTube, but like Twitch side as well, by the way. And by the way, I don't really see who's like watching me anyways, you know. I have like, you know, there's like a kind of like number, how many people are watching you, but to be honest, I don't really look at that number, you know. I just like focus on drawing and do my thing, you know. If people come in, be like, hey, Tosan, what's up? And then be like, hey, hello, and then let's talk, you know. We can talk. You can join like my topic and then we can have a discussion also. And if not, you can just like keep the stream in the background and like peek at everyone every once in a while and be like, oh crap, Tosan, you already like done with the line art, or oh holy crap, you have put on colors, and then, you know, like after 2 hours or 3 hours I'm like done, you know, kind of. And this time I can be like talking. You can just listen to me, it's like fine, you know. When you're like the one person watching, it's like, hey, let's go. You're my first guy who like chatted in here. Let's go. That's also good. Do you draw flowers? I love the eyes on the drawing. Gosh. There are like some things I will reply to and some things I will not reply to, you know. I do like see the things, I do read it silently, but I don't like read everything out loud, you know, if it's like unrelated. Currently I draw here Yukoku Roberu here. He's like from Holostars, you know. He's like a VTuber streamer, you know. If you want to talk about him, we can talk about him, you know. Like whatever I draw. And if you're not really interested and want to talk about God, then we cannot talk, you know. Just like that. But if you go to school for now, then yeah, cool. Have a nice day. The hair, drawing the hair is like not easy, to be honest, like on this character. on Roberu-kun here. To be honest, I do not really understand his hair. I'm just like doing it like randomly, like seemingly, I suppose. But if you're like really that curious, you know, you can like go from the beginning of the stream, you know, like fast forward, like see like the kind of time lapse more or less on like how I drew the hair, you know. But the thing is like I still have to like do a lot of adjustments. It's like not perfect in the first attempt or so, right? Like if you want to like see how the character looks like, you know. That's like this character sheet, you know, of Yukoku Roberu. That's like the character I like to draw fan art of. And this hair is pretty complicated, you know. Like if you like look at the reference sheet here. I like try to like draw it here, but I don't know. I'm like not that successful. But yeah. But I do what I can. It's my first time drawing him, you know. If I can like do it the first time, then I can like do it the next time, like surely a lot better. It's kind of like that you like learn how to ride a bike, and if you learn how to ride a bike, you can like do it again, you know. Like learning how to draw like certain hairstyles, certain like characters or so. You know, the more often you do it, the more easier it will like go. And sometimes like things like speed, things like quality, you get like level up in a sense, you know. Just like keeping things up. And like doing day by day, you know, step for step. It's like not a big jump, you know, like you can do. Unless you use like things like AI, you know, and you have like this kind of jumps into, I don't know, here and there. But it's like really unrealistic, you know. And experienced people like figure that out, you know. It's kind of like, you know, the current age is like more like, kind of reminds me of like the Jackie Chan movie I like watched, like The Shadow's Edge, you know? Like of this thematic of like youth versus experience, or like technology versus experience, you know? That like old school like meets like those things like AI, slop and whatever, you know? Of course, AI can like help us of things, you know, but when like things like hackers and everything, when they can kind of like, you know, bypass like things that the AI created, you know. It kind of like shows the over-reliance on AI is like kind of like biting you in the ass. Yeah, now that I kind of like think about The Shadow's Edge, you know, it is like, it has a lot of like messages there, you know. When I like first watched it, I kind of like, you know, I thought about the characters and like the stories about the characters, but then it's like about the whole big thing actually, you know. When the action is like, you know, Jackie Chan still got it, you know, he still can do like most of his stunts here. Like there were like many cuts where where he's like not covering his face, you know, just you still see it's Jackie, you know. Yeah, actually, yeah. It really is like about experience, and so to be honest, like my art is like not the best, you know. When I showed you the reference sheet, it looks so much better. I know, I'm pretty aware of that, but you know, it's like fan art. It's like not professional, you know. I just want to draw it because I like him, and I also, my main reason is like I want to try every single Holo mem, you know. And if I can try him before anything happens with him, or like whole life, the better, you know. Like sometimes I try like members who are like already graduated, who are like not here anymore, like Gamma-san or like Kira-san here. Some summons on the left side, you know, like the 2 Holostars that you see there. I probably think like Kayla will not hear that anymore, but I wonder, you know, like with the target audience, you know, when I look like through the analytics at some point, I reach like a lot of like people who are like kind of like in the 20s, 30s or like 40s, you know. This is my usual target audience, but it's like first time that I have like here a 7-year-old, you know. Actually in the chat. The thing is like, by the way, you know, I said like my streams, my content be like not for kids, you know. There's like kind of like this thing, you know, like for kids, not for kids, you know. I kind of like, you know, probably it's like you have so much free time, I suppose, that you like kind of like find a random stream like myself, like a niche and a niche and a niche, you know, anime, VTuber, and like VTuber fan art or so, you know. There's nothing like Jesus Christ, religion or so, like God lost you or whatever, you know. I guess like, it's not Gen Z, it's not Gen Alpha, you know. Can you say like Gen Gamma or so? Like with kids of like this kind of generation. I'm kind of like glad that I didn't curse yet, you know, or that I kind of censored myself, you know. Instead of like saying the F word, I say like you know, like I use like the silencer, you know, like the less the word that's like doesn't like sound the F word, but it's like, you know, a replacement for the F word, you know, something like that. Like, I don't want to be a bad influence, you know. But at the same time, some lines I have like to draw, you know. Like, usually I don't do things like, you know, correcting kids, like teaching some discipline or so, but I think at some points I have like to be like, hey, you know, this is my house, these are my rules, you know, follow them or we'll time you out or whatever, you know. Usually I like not into that, but I think when it comes to the point, you know, I'm gonna have like to do something like that, you know. Because like, the thing is like, you know, teenagers, kids. Okay, some teenagers have like somewhat developed brain, but the thing is like, if you're like very young, your brain is not really developed. You can't like think too much about nuances or so, you know. And you have like not a lot of experience on like how the whole world like works. It's like kind of like the responsibility of adult to like teach them, you know. Like when they F around, they will find out. And if you're an adult and you see them F around, then you have to let them find out, you know. But sometimes it's like also like good to not let them do the mistake in the first place and just like point out, hey, this is wrong, you know. Like, you know, if you give a kid a knife, if a kid like gets their hands onto a knife, you know, and don't let them F around in the first place, you know. Just take it away from them and teach them, you know, this is not good, you know. And like explain why. I do hope I don't have like to go that far yet to like teach a kid, you know, before like things are too late. I do hope I don't have to do anything like that, but you know, but I think I will have to at some point. It's just like in my kind of day-to-day life, you know, job, or like my environment, you know, family, friends. There are no kids. The last time I got like to see kids and be like, man, they're cute, you know, was like when I was like doing a trainee like a retirement home, you know. Sometimes like the kids would like come to like see the elderly people, like spend time with them, and can be look good for the elderly people, you know. They're the seniors, senioritas, you know, they're to like have this kind of human to human, like, you know, interaction between like young and old. And when those kids that like came, I kind of was like, man, they're cute, you know. Like not a creepy sense, but just like, man, I really like that they, you know, are so respectful to the elderly people, you know, like spend the time with them. And some were like kind of like looking up more, you know, like some look like cool, you know, like really indifferent, but when like they meet like the elderly people, they like start smiling, beaming. It's kind of like, oh, kawaii, you know, kind of like that. But the thing is like, you know, the reason why I kind of like be like, oh gosh, you know, things is like kids and internet, you know, they should be here in the first place, actually. They should not be here in the first place, you know. Of course, YouTube is not as bad as like Twitter right now, like with the Twitter AI, you know, like Grok and everything. And what you can do with the power, you know. I told you like things like, you know, when a kid gets his hand onto a knife, you know, like a deadly weapon, like potentially, you have to like take it away from them. Be like, no, don't do that, you know. You know, like that you have like kind of like watch over them. And like now I'm kind of worried, you know. Of course, YouTube is not as bad. As long as you don't meet the wrong people, there's still hope, you know. But the thing is like, they go like to random streams, just like Spatter's message, you know. And if people get to know how old they are, for example, man. I'm really worried, you know. What are the parents doing? But yeah, I'm just a random guy in the internet, you know. I don't have that much power, I suppose. But yeah, I can still do what I can, you know. To be honest, what I try right now is somewhat sassy, you know, it's... gosh. Man. I'm like face palming, you know. But I guess this happened, you know. Now, like, kind of like thinking, what can I do for next time, you know? In case this happens again. Maybe I can like avoid to like stream at this time zone altogether, you know? I suppose. But the thing is like avoiding the interaction in the first place is also like not, I don't know. Things need like time, like step by step. I can't like change everything in one night, you know? like drawing takes also like time. Of course I'm distracted because I yap, you know. But you know what I mean. Okay, let's draw. Let's do colors. Color. But maybe not so bad, you know. I entertained like this 7-year-olds for like about 10 minutes. If they can last this long, maybe there's a little bit of hope. Like just looking at the chat log and kind of like, you know, see like when they like posted or so. It was like roughly like 10 minutes. Like in the kind of age of like TikTok, short form content and so, like Mr. Beast. Yeah, it's like not that bad, I suppose. Maybe there's a little bit of hope. I don't think like being on the internet is like that productive, you know, if you're like that young and like so you have like such a young brain that can get like a lot of like the wrong stuff. When I was like this age, man, there was like no internet really. The most I was like doing was like watching TV and you know, and like watching some films. And then playtime, you know, took like some toys and then like played. Like had like a dinosaur on one hand and then like a plushie in the other hand, be like bam bam bam, fight, you know, something like that. Do like some sounds or so. Or I would like open like a book, you know, and then like get a pen, you know, and see like cool dinosaur and there's another dinosaur like on the picture book and be like, you know, kind of like drawing lines here and there, kind of like that she breathes out of the mouth and then something like that, you know. It's kind of like the Kamehameha to like everything. And like let them fight in my mind, you know. This is like what I did, you know. I was like really stupid, but I was like really carefree and, you know, could have like fun. And let my brain develop, you know. I didn't have like to worry about things like studying yet, you know. Even when I was like in the first grade, you know, I think as a 7-year-old or so, I still couldn't like read or so. I was like still kind of, my brain was still like kindergarten mode and hey, let's play and so, you know. I didn't really took learning seriously until at some point I got like some kind of cram school-ish help, like how do you call it? Like a home teacher, something like that, you know, who kind of like taught me like how to read. This was like around the 2nd grade. I like learned like how to do things like 2nd grade in elementary school, like how to like read and write. But it took like time, you know. If you're like able to like maybe, you know, like I take myself as standard, but probably I was like under average, you know, like below average on like my learning progress regarding like learning of like reading and writing. Like we're already like kind of in chat and can like write like well, it's a one sentence like chat message, but if you're kind of able to do that, not so bad. If you're kind of like able to follow the conversation and like give some replies like according to like that, not bad, you know. But also we're like living in the age of like AI kind of, you know, and like X for example has like a lot of like bots and like AIs, and you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, is this actually like a real person or not? But the thing is like they showed like around the same time zone, like they remember like that I addressed them like as the hey, God lost you all like kids, you know, but hey, not okay. Right now I have like kind of like problems like with this with the hair of like Roberu. Pretty complicated. Also, Roberu has like heterochromia. This means like he has like 2 different eye colors. Maybe it's like the connection, like why there's like Roberu Nightmare, but I think like it's not really like that. But it's like kind of like a cool kind of like combination there, you know, like when they have like their collabs. Roberu Nightmare. That's like the collab name they have like there. And to be honest, like the synergy between like Roberu and any like female streamer, whew, it's pretty nice. It's kind of like nice to see. You kind of like want to ship that, you know, but at the same time, you know, he can like get along with everyone. It's kind of like role playing, but at the same time as well, it could be serious, you know. It could be like hope at the same time, you know. Don't give us hope, man. Don't give us hope. So, but on like Sunday, we like stream in a different time zone. And next week, I think like as well, like at a different time slot, you know. Like Sunday, I will continue with my 6th song, like adventure there. It's like for me, every morning or so. For like the far west, it's like midnight. For the far east, it's like something like afternoon-ish, you know. What is my target audience? I don't really have one there, but just like my usual morning, Sunday morning gaming stream, you know, kind of. It's like pretty much egoistical, you know. But when I do things like karaoke, when I do actually like choose like things like time slots or so, where I like think, yeah, I can like reach most of like my audience there. You know, I have like to think about things like meta. Since I kind of like look at analytics sometimes and be like, how can we get there to membership, you know? Since I kind of like want to give you those cool things as well, you know. I was like cooking some emotes, kind of like cooking. I did have like a stream where I like drew like some emotes, you know. Took like some suggestions here and there, and like made like some kind of sketches, you know. But for me to actually complete those, I actually need to like fulfill the requirements, you know. But yeah, but I think like the best way I can like do this like via video content, you know, video creation. I actually need to expand my reach. I think about like how I will do that. I'm not really sharing the idea, you know, but on like what kind of video, but the thing is like also like if I share what I plan, then I will not be productive, you know. I will never like complete it in the first place. Like, it's not about like words, but like actions, you know, something like that. It was like kind of like when I was like a teenager, this was my kind of motto, you know. I wouldn't like waste time with like, you know, boasting out, shouting out my announcing like my appearance or so, or like that I'm about to do things. I would be pretty silent and just like work silently. And once I'm done, I would announce it, you know. I would announce like a thing. But when things were not completed, I have nothing to show for you, I would shut my I would shut up, you know. This was like how I worked as a teenager, you know. As a kid, I had like not that much brain power yet, you know. But regarding like my adults, or like regarding, you know, me now, it's kinda like, I don't know. It's probably like similar like that still. Letting like action speak, but you know, the thing is like, if you're a streamer, you have like to talk, more or less, to like keep things entertaining. Hello everyone, I'm Markiplier, you know, something like that. And like, spin like some jokes, do like some bits here and there, you know. Just like keep the people entertained. But to be honest, there are like many ways on like to do that. You can be like really funny. You can be like godlike in your gaming skill, or like whatever skill it is that require that is whatever like is like required. Like say art stream, and you show like how good you are drawing, or like gaming stream, how good you are like gaming, you know, something like that. I'm pretty much like Randon, you know, like Randon the Orc. I'm like kinda drawn to his like wisdom he has, like, you know. I do love his Satsudan streams. Oh, when it comes like to Professor Lando, you know, I'm like interested in like the video skits he has on like Ligma University, like what kind of like lesson does he have for us, you know? Like it's like a lot of sassy content, you know, like what is like being taught as like Ligma University, like things like about furry, or like things about gooning, you know, also like things that are like not safe for work, but you know, are still like worth to like take a look at, you know. As someone, you know, who's interested in like the topics of like what the Ligma University is like teaching you, you know. Professor Lando like makes there some interesting content, you know, and he's like into his fanboys. He can draw, he can do makeup, he can do stand-up comedy. He has like a nice voice, you know, he can twerk, and he can do music. He's like a multi-talent, you know, like Professor Lando. It's kind of like interesting, you know, to like watch some content like that. But yeah, there are like some things that are like pretty cool, like with content creators, you know, regardless of like their gender. But like with girls, it's just like, man, you know, they're like girls can be bitchy, you know, they can be like, if I'm like blunt, like assholes, you know, but there can be also like girls that are actually cute, you know, like a lot of like whole life members, you know, and cute girls, I think like everyone understands that, you know, everyone like understands the charm appeal. It's just like, if I think about real life, man, I mean, they're like normal girls, you know, just like work colleagues, you know, who can like work out, you can work with each other, you know, and there's like no fight also. But sometimes I do like feel like, you know, even like with normie women and girls, there can be like some treasures as well. They have like some kind of empathy there, you know. Just like being adult, being like having common sense and so, you know. It's like pretty nice, you know. But at the same time, with some, I have like the feeling, I'm like kind of careful, be like, there could be like this bitchy art type, you know, or like the Karen mode, you know, like the Karen. They're like in Germany, you know, there's like kind of like a sub-archetype to like the Karen. Like one of my friends called them the Kerstin or so. They have like a specific haircut, you know, like how you can recognize those Kerstin archetypes or so. And that also like you know, like how you can recognize a Karen, you know, like they look like this, you know, they have this hairstyle, this specific hairstyle, so. And how can I describe it? I'm not really, my vocab's not really that big, but it's like the short haircut, you know, like that, like women, ladies, like around 40, 50 years old, like choose, you know. And then it's like for the most part like the natural hair color, or it's like colored, like in red, in like black, or like in a really, really bright blonde, you know, something like that. And then that's your typical Karen, or like Kerstin or so, you know. I have like to dig up the tweets, you know, like from my friend. Those were like pretty gold. He was like legendary Twitter user, like in the German Smash Bros scene. Mickey Tasty. I don't know, like if he changed his like name, like he had like a face where he like was into like Bleach, and then he called himself Bankai or so, you know. Like you know, like those people like who change their profile picture like every single time, you know. Like he's like this kind of type, you know. Mickey, oh gosh. I for my part, I'm like pretty loyal to like my profile pictures. I haven't like changed like, yeah, I really didn't change like much. Like in my teenager age, I did like changes a lot, you know, but now that I kind of like got like around, you know, at a certain age, I like kind of like stopped like being so, you know, sporadic, doing things on the fly. That's not really sporadic, but like being spontaneous, you know. I stopped being like being spontaneous. Just stick what you like, you know, or stick what you're like usually used to. I like that a lot more. And it can also be helpful to like have people recognize you, you know. Oh, you're that guy with this profile picture, you know. hey, long time no see, you know. But if you constantly change it, you know, like even with your name, it's kind of like, yeah. But to be honest, like regarding like name changes or so, I do like plan to like change like things like with my channel at some point, you know. Like Tosan Yu channel, it's kind of like Kizna I channel, or like Access Serious Holostars English channel, or something like that, you know. Like it's like really corporate, you know, kind of. Like I channel was like kind of like cute, you know. Kizna I, you know. I-chan, I-chan, you know, it's kind of like you are forced to say like I-chan, you know, it's kind of like really cute, you know. But things like Tosan Yu channel kind of like sounds too corporate, but I'm an indie, you know, I kind of have to change it up. But I will not do it like to Tosan Yu, no, I will not do it like that. Like my, my alt, like my private account, you know, on YouTube is like just Tosan Yu, you know, and that's so many Tosan Yus, you know. I will not do it like that, you know. You have like to have something unique if you like if you're like a content creator, you know, more or less. You need something like unique, creative, or just unique in general, you know. That not every like second like guy has like their. But man, like they're running on like Roberu. Holy crap, it's so detailed. Like man, there's a lot of effort put into his character design. It's amazing. They have a really skilled artist, a really skilled mama. It's amazing. I can't make it justice probably, but I'm gonna try, you know. You miss every shot you don't take. There's a lot of rendering going on, but I don't understand it like that well. My rendering is like pretty simple. But I have like probably to study something like regarding that. If I really want to like make that step, you know, on like improving like my art. Like I pretty much like my Kanata fan art, you know. This is like where I like went in seriously. I have like to look up some tutorials, just, you know, like regarding like lighting also. But man, I went like all out there. I pretty much like the result. It's like not my masterpiece, but of 2025. Maybe it is, you know, but I know like I did like better things like back then. But okay, let me see. Okay, actually, I think like Kayla is from the US, right? When they say I have to go to school now. School usually like starts like 8 AM. I think like I'm on my time zone. I start like streaming out around like 4 PM or so. I mean, there's an 8-hour gap. Ah, that makes sense. Like PST, you know? Pacific Standard Time. There's at max like an 8-hour gap. Like 12-hour gap. Really could be like that. So if I stream like at the morning, it will be midnight for the Western people. I think I can avoid certain audiences if I like stream like at morning or like evening in my time zone. But at the same time, man, I wish like that kids don't interact with the internet at such a young age. Internets are really like powerful tool, you know. But the thing is, like, with great power comes great responsibility, you know. Ugh, man. I wonder. I will not pray to God or so. They already do the job, you know. Family maybe too. Well, okay. I have like to worry about different things, you know. Like, my little sister, Imoto-chan, she will go to like to vacation, and then she will be gone for months from home. And then I have to take care of the cat of hers, Mew. Maybe some of you OGs know her like from roughly 2 years ago, when like streamed like around 2024 in summer or so. Sometimes she would like come into the stream, like not come directly, but you could hear meowing and everything. Sometimes she would like jump into my lap and be like, while I'm like gaming or so, you know, or like drawing. And it's kind of like, yeah, you can probably expect that like in the near future, you know, like that you hear like some meowing or so, like some interactions there. You know, sometimes they're gonna like walk on your keyboard and then like decide to like sleep there or so, you know. And then some people don't bring like the heart, don't have like the heart to like shoo them away, you know. Or like when they start sleeping to like wake them up, you know. But I can be like that heartless actually. They'll be like, "You're my way, cat! Go away!" You know, shoo shoo, you know, something like that. This is my place. Look for something different. Come on. But overall, cats have like the intelligence of like, I don't know, a 4-year-old, 2-year-old. I don't know really I'm not really sure what the intelligence was, but they were like pretty dumb, you know. But the thing is like, what is like so special about them is like the emotional intelligence, you know. They have like some social intelligence there. They can like pick up on like things like emotions or like that someone's sad or so, or like when they get like sick or something, then they show support in the best way they like know, you know, like via like body contact, like snuggling up to someone, you know, something like that, and then like starting to purr or whatever, you know, something like that. They're like pretty social beings, cats. This is what's special about them, you know. So I'm kind of like more or less like looking forward to like you know, having like some companionship, so that's like not lonely, you know. Like cats can get lonely actually too, you know. Like they need like someone around. Like if you like leave your home, you know, go to work for like 8-hour shift or whatever, and then come back, they're gonna like wait for you, like when you come out. Like, you know, you enter your house, they're like there, like 2-3 meters in front of your door, be like, you know, welcome you back, you know. It's kind of like, you know, like those kind of anime scenes where you're like, Tadaima, and then they'd be like, Okarinasai, you know, something like that. It's kind of like that they welcome you back actually. And then headbutt you, be like snuggling up on you, be like, hey, I missed you, you know, how was your day? Something like that, you know. It's like pretty cute, you know, like this kind of interaction, you know, that when you come home, someone's like there waiting for you. And every lonely anime weeb or so kinda like had like this kind of thought in mind, you know, like this fantasies, you know. Be like, you come home and it's like, kairi nasai, you know, gohan ni suru? Ofuru ni suru? You know, something like that. Like having a wife, you know, something like that. And then when they come home, they had like someone there. But just like me, loneliness actually. And then things like Ryan Gosling, you know, like this kind of meme, you know. Like, it's kind of this, the latest Blade Runner movie or so, and Gosling did like a really good job on like showing this emotion of like, you know, you look lonely. I can't fix that, you know. And then how he looks slowly looks upward. Like a lot of like what Ryan Gosling like did in this movie is like became like a meme. But it's like something about like I can't like really put a finger on it, you know. I was not really awake when I watched the movie. Like I watch along with like Ami, you know. Like on Blade Runner. It's not like not the old version, it's like the newer version. You know, there was like, it's kind of meme, you know, like anime character or like casted by Ryan Gosling or so. It's kind of like the meme of like, you know, like when Chris Pratt is like voicing Mario, you know, something like that, the Mario movie. Then, oh man, I want to also be voiced by Chris Pratt or like, you know, by Ryan Gosling or something like that. Like when it comes like to live action anime, you know, like a live action version of like anime. Okay, when Tosan gets live action, I want to be like casted by like Ryan Gosling. It was kind of like, you know, the cast of Evangelion, you know, like Shinji, Ayane Mirei, Asuka, and all casted by like Ryan Gosling, you know, something like that. And actually, I would like dig that, you know. Or there's like this kind of like recent meme, you know, of like same voice actor, by the way. It's kind of like you hear like some really cute and funny like voice acting, you know, like from Japanese anime girls, and then the next moment it's like Kratos, you know, from God of War. God of War. Like the same voice actor, by the way, meme. It's kind of like, you know, I know it's a meme, but at the same time, when I like look things not as a, you know, brain rot meme consumer, but like actually, you know, something informative, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like me taking my headphones off, like, you know, like taking your headphones off meme. I'm like I'm here for like A, but I get B, and I'm like, no, you know. I'm out of here. Kinda like that. If it's like a rickroll, it's a different thing, you know? You know, like rickroll from like, this never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Like this one, you know, if it's like really fair setup, I'd be like, okay, you got me, you know, but if it's like, you know, things like same voice actor, by the way, it's kind of like, you know, for me. There's also like the things with AI voices, by the way, you can do. Sometimes get like reversed, like, you know, like with the same voice actor by the way thing. But it really depends on like how you use tools. There was like this one anime, not anime, manga review, not manga review, manga recap channel called like Mada Mada. And they used the on voice to like create like a voice data bank of like AI, you know, so that the AI can like read out things for them instead like that they dubbed it themselves, you know. So they can like write a script and then like you know, the AI the voice data bank will like read out for you, something like that. But there's sometimes like, expectations, you know, exceptions, you know, where it's like the AI can't like read it fast enough, so I will read it, you know, and then it's kind of like that. And I pretty much like the Mada Mada YouTube channel, you know, like when their content was not nuked, you know, like with the humor, you know, it was like pretty much on the line, you know, a little bit of sus, but it was overall like, you know, it has the right amount of spice, the right amount of like balance, you know, to like make a tasty manga recap, you know. I'm pretty much like, for example, like when they did the Nutmaster manga recap or so. Like I don't know if you like saw the Nutmaster anime. It got like an anime review, anime adaptation or so like last year. It was like one of the worst. So, but when there was like the recap, I kind of like dig that, you know, because it was such a bad manga, you know, like with a kind of a premise, you know, power fantasy, but the way that Mada Mada like explained it, like sold it as a product, it was like so entertaining, funny, you know. There are like some examples, you know. It's kind of like, what is Nutmaster about? I'm like actually done with the picture here, like 2 hours, but I can like kind of finish the story, right? Before like in the stream. Like Nutmaster. So it's like a fantasy world, you know? And you eat like a nut, a fruit, you know, something like that. And you can get like a power from that, like, but it's like randomized, you know, it's a kind of gacha. And there's like the main character and then like his childhood friend, like a girlfriend, you know, childhood girlfriend. And she turned out to be like, to get like a really powerful skill, so that she's like the sword saint or so. Then like, hell yeah, you know, my girlfriend got it, and then if I also get a good skill, we can like team up and like fulfill our dream to be adventurous together. But then he got like the skill called Nutmaster, you know, this is kind of like a farming skill, and then something like that. And I kind of like the commentary like from the manga recap channel, you know, where it's like, oh no, you got like this skill, but it's fine. We can play like Harvest Moon together, you know, like farm together, have like our life there. And then the appraiser, the nano was like, no way the hell can you team up with him? Stardew Valley is like a single player game. Go back to the adventurers thing, something like that. And this kind of out of hand with like Stardew Valley, so it was kind of like funny, you know. And yeah, there were like some other like things there, and that they like make like references to, or like kind of like but being like on the line like sassy, you know, like you know, his cheeks would like flush, but because it's like bit a Christian channel, I'm gonna show you his like face and him blushing, you know, something like that, you know, in a sense, you know, like when you talk about cheeks, it's not only like about the cheeks on your face, you know, but like other cheeks on your body as well, you know, something like that. like clapping some cheeks, like something like that. They would like repeat a lot. So like a lot of like sassy like jokes there, you know. But I kind of dig that, you know, that humor they have like there. It was like the right amount, like for a short amount of time. There was like even like one like shoujo manga or so, or like a romance manga, romance comedy, like about one little guy and like a girl who's like giant or so, you know. And he would like do something of parody there and be like, please Captain Levi save us, you know, something like that, you know, like Levi is like from Attack on Titan, he's like the Titan Slayer, yo, he's like the best fighter to like against the Titans, you know, something like that. And he would like do something of a lot of like Attack on Titan like references, like in this kind of like romance comedy of like one guy and like a giant girlfriend or so, something like that. And it was kind of like realistic and kind of like funny. It's like kind of the abridged version of like some like anime versions, you know, like Dragon Ball or so. And this was like pretty gold. There's like actually like really some like good content out of there, but sometimes YouTube be weird and be like, no, it's like way too dirty and raunchy, and let's nuke your channel or so. And after that kind of happened, you know, it's kind of like that they kind of lost the motivation like to do YouTube, but they like re-upload everything on their Patreon or so. Mada, it's like MADA, like 2 times, you know, and you can like find them there. But in any case, that has been all for today. I drew like Roberu. Probably I can like add a lot more, but I'm gonna leave it at that for now. 2 hours, not bad. In any case, I wish you a nice rest of the day, evening, a good night. Whatever times in the world you are. With that, I'm gonna say bye bye.